Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Berry. I'm one of three members of the the Explained podcast. Well, you can look at the logo. This is what I'm a member of. And each week we're trying to ask questions about AI that are really accessible questions. There's so much going on out there. We just want to explore, ask questions, see what we can find. And each week, in between our interviews, we're going to individually share something around AI and AI tools in education or whatever it might be. This week, we were looking at writing in AI. So, my job is to share some research. Renee's going to share some resources, and Sean's going to share some tools or whatever it is that Sean does. So, the research I'm going to share this week is called, and it's a really catchy title, so I want to get it right, Human AI Collaboration Patterns in AI Assisted Academic Writing by Andy Nguyen et al. And this was published in the Studies of Higher Education Journal in 2024. So, it's recent. And I want to break down how this study was constructed because I think it's important to the questions around AI and the research that's happening out there. So the main goal of the study was to explore how graduate students interacted with generative AI within academic writing. This involved 10 doctoral students from Finland and New Zealand. Ironically, these students were tasked with writing an essay about AI, and they could use Google Scholar or ChatGPT. In a 30-minute timeline, they could use any of the tools that they wanted. And what was great about this study is that they didn't just look at, okay, was generative AI used to just create writing? They looked at the intricate components of the writing process to see how the students were interacting with it. And what they found was there were a couple of different states that were happening. So there was the content pasting behavior, so how they were taking content from one area to another, content copying behavior, and then component shaping behavior. And when they observed what these students were doing, they basically fell into two camps. The first camp was called structured adaptivity. And these were the students that were doing a more iterative interaction with the generative AI. So they were taking things from a resource and putting it in AI, asking questions, generating a dialogue of sorts, and adding that to the writing component. And then there are the folks that were the unstructured streamline, which was much more linear. And they were copy pasting and taking more content directly from the generative AI to their writing. And in the end, the result was that the folks that did the structured adaptivity, that were doing a more iterative process, were experiencing higher outcomes in their writing quality and experience. Now, I think what's important about this study is that it's the first of many to come, for sure. And it's going to ask questions not just about, is generative AI good or bad for writing? It's going to point us to places where there could be some high leverage components that increase the cognitive lift for those interacting with it versus take away from it. So I like that this study took that apart, looked at the intricate components of writing and really observed that. I'd like to see more built out from there to understand where we can really leverage it and where we shouldn't. So that's my study for the week. Take a look.